have a good relationship with God when we first got married. We weren't living with a purpose. We were just kind of living, just going to our jobs and coming home from our jobs and being husband and wife, and there was nothing. It's like we weren't really centered towards anything. We bought a house out here in Paulding County and thought, all right, this is great. This is where we're going to start a family. But you know, that God didn't put us in that house. We weren't walking with God at the time, and you know, it was still all about me and all about. And then 2 months after we bought the house and closed on the house, I got laid off, and it was kind of eye-opening at that point. And I felt like a failure. I felt like, here I am, supposed to be this husband, and I can't even support, you know, my wife. I can't even find a job, and just kind of went downhill from there and jumped from job to job. And then we found church at the Ridge.
I don't know if it sounds kind of, I guess, cliche or like you couldn't really mean it, but literally walking through the doors changed him.
And I walked in the door, and Mitch Welch was standing there smiling, and he shakes my hand and he says, "Good morning." And I felt like this is exactly where I need to be. This is where I belong. And that was the very first time I'd felt that, I think, ever. Here I am, flat broke, losing everything, and I'm the happiest guy you've ever talked to because I'm so excited about this relationship, and started serving at church more regularly, and doing something at church where I could reach out to more people and use my personality and be able to reach out my hand to shake someone's hand, just like Mitch did for me.
The church issued a challenge that if you would tithe and do as the Bible, as you should, as should be in your heart, and do it with an open heart, and truly try to listen and see what God had for you. If at the end of that 90 days you felt that your needs were not met, that there was something that they would actually give you back. Now, and that's not why we did it, but because that was the way the challenge was issued. And we at that point were just going and faithful and felt moved to do it.
You know, we just stayed faithful and just, you know, tithe, it became a routine. It became a way of life. I mean, tithing was just, you know, standard, mandatory. There was no way around it. There was, if we made $20, $2 of it was going. If we got a $50 gift card, $5 of it was going. And it didn't matter. And we did it first. You know how it says first fruits? We were actually adamant about saying, all right, well, here's my paycheck of $200. We take 20 out first, and this is how much I made. Because that 20, I didn't make that 20. It was his all along. And once my thought process changed like that, it was a no-brainer. I was like, wow, this is easy, you know?
And basically, I mean, through all that, he showed us provider. That's what we've known him as from that over Thanksgiving. We had the bucket of food that shows up on the doorstep. We still don't know who it was from. We're
sitting down to eat toast for dinner on a Tuesday night, and we get the doorbell rings. And I thought, who's knocking on our door at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday? So we send Connor down to the door. Connor opens the door and he's like, "Dad, there's a box on the doorstep." I'm like, "Did you buy something? How would he have bought something? We don't have any money." To this day, we still don't know who, but it was probably $100 worth of food, a full Thanksgiving turkey, all the fixings, which lasted us for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Just appears. And the magnitude of that moment, I was on my knees. I was on my knees sobbing, crying, because my life was changed forever. I don't think anybody should go through the heartbreak and heartache of losing your house to foreclosure and losing your job to layoff and go through anything that we've gone through. But literally the last 3 years have been 3 of the best years of my life, the 3 best years of our marriage. And And it was all because we had a purpose. It was all because it was God-centered.